Intertalk Radio, you're in to all things music.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody, it is Friday, and you are so smart because you are tuned in to May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk, and I am Scott, your host, a man who is known in some circles as the John Wick of marketing, the boogeyman, the stuff of legend, the unkillable guy that's always there to criticize your crap, honestly, let's be honest. And with me, as always, is Garth, my own personal Garth, Paul B. at Intertalk Central. What's up, Paul? How's it going today?
Going good. So I'm glad to hear your dog is in good health, that you were trying to lock out of your studio. So
yeah, she's in good health. Yeah. Isn't it amazing? I'm going to see John Wick 3 tomorrow. I love the John Wick movies, but I love the fact that all of this death and problems in his entire life all came from the fact that one stupid gangster's son killed his dog.
Yeah, you don't mess with a man's dog.
You don't mess with a man's dog. I think that's a solid lesson that you get.
You never know what you're going to unleash. You never know when a man on the edge has all of his ideas about innocence and purity just tied to one little doggy, and that's the only thing that's holding on.
Dude, John Wick is just pure vengeance at its finest. The first John Wick movie is a masterpiece of just is like I'm going to take out you and everybody who's ever known you at any point in your life. I mean, anybody that you've ran into and is a general acquaintance of yours, they're going to die too, just in case, you know. And then it spirals into this story. The actual story of John Wick 3 looks really, really cool. It's basically, so he's like out on his own. He's excommunicated from the Hitman organization, and now he's on the run and has to fight off about like 1 million hitmen and hit people to escape and everything. So I'm going to see that movie tomorrow, and I'm very excited.
The hunter becomes the hunted.
I'm excited, man. It's gonna be good.
Well, enjoy.
Well, cool. Let's get into the big show. So who am I? What do I do? So I am Scott. I'm president and founder of a public relations firm called Robertson Communications. We do strategic brand marketing, messaging, and public relations for companies who want to win in the marketplace. It's a lot of fun. You can always reach me. I'm on social media at RobertsonCom on Twitter. Facebook.com/RobertsonCom, 2 M's like communications, you know, and then send me an email to Scott@RobertsonCom, 2 M's like communications.com. That's how you reach out to me. Sometimes I get emails from listeners of the show, and they say, hey, I really like this, or you're a complete idiot and that was wrong, and here's what I think, and that kind of thing. And you know, there's room for all kinds of opinions, except for when I'm talking, because that's when it's my opinion, just so we're all on the same page about that. So, but go ahead and send me your opinions, because I always enjoy reading them, and then I could possibly belittle those later. Yeah, honestly, it gives me something to do. So, anyway, let's talk about. So you're tuned in to the show today. It's Friday. This is episode 123 of the show. I call this one "Rage Against the Machine Language," and really, this is sort of a love letter to Google, who I sort of believe is the root of all evil of modern marketing. I've said that many, many times. I think that's true. I don't think that they mean to be evil. I think that they're just naive and stupid. I think that they just don't understand marketing. They don't understand what it is that it was before they decided to sort of disrupt it and change it and turn it into something else. And that continues in their communications. They strike me as a really, really naive person with no actual idea of how the world works whenever they're speaking. And maybe that's their brand personality. They say, hey, we're going to try to sound like a small child who's never experienced anything. But that's how they come out. So anyway, we'll get into that. But as Google will be quick to point out, a machine can do many things better than a human being can. It really can. It can identify shapes. It can categorize things. It won't miss any. It can do it much faster than we can do it, much faster than our little human feeble brains can do very simple tasks, repetitive tasks, right? And then they extend that knowledge and say, well, what if we could replace all the repetitive tasks that human beings have to do now with a machine doing them? With a machine doing them. And you're going to hear this argument, in a lot of different industries. In marketing, as I've often said, this isn't a place where you don't want to do your best thinking. When we get into segment 2 and we start talking about who's winning and losing, you're going to see some great examples of people who don't do any thinking, right? They just execute crap. And that's why they're on the show as a loser, because of the stupidity, right? And the not thinking part. But, so let's agree that machines are better at doing, there's a little game. They sent me this email this week that kind of spurred the idea for the show. And I had to categorize some shapes, and it was like a blue triangle and a yellow square and a green, little square with another square attached to it, like a little L shape kind of thing. And it said, how fast can you put these in the different categories? A machine can do this many shapes, 32 shapes or whatever, in 5 seconds. Can you do it? And of course you can't, because a machine can do that stuff much faster than you. It can categorize things much faster. And then it said, can you predict what the next pattern is going to be in this fairly complex pattern of shapes? And of course, you're not able to figure out exactly what's going to come next that fast, but the machine can. I'll give you all that. I'll give you all that and a bag of chips, man. Machines are far superior to us in doing that stuff. Here comes the $1 million question that you must ask. If you had more personalized, customized information about your customers, would it really matter? Would we really be that much smarter? Or would we just send out more emails, cram more people into our sales funnels, and use the technology to do a lot more stuff more frequently and worse, poorly, badly? Because as I see it, that's exactly what's happening with machine learning. So I'm going to rage against this machine and give you some really good stuff to think about before you take, Google's rather naive perspective at face value. And of course, we're going to bake up a fresh batch of winning and losing this week. This is going to be another great episode. I think we're already going to be up for a Nobel Peace Prize, for a Nobel, which comes with a big cash prize. So once I'll win the Nobel for podcasting, I'll go on vacation for a while, blow the money. Let's be honest, go play music somewhere. Then I'll come back, and then marketing will be in a different place by the time I get back, and we'll attack it when we get back. That's what I'm thinking. Let's talk about machine language. So again, I told you Google is sort of my inspiration on this kind of thing. As you know, I am sort of anti AI anyway. I think human beings are really naive when it comes to artificial intelligence. I think we're like, scientists, in my opinion, are really, really good at inventing stuff. They're really, really bad at judgment. They're really bad at judgment. In science school, they don't teach you judgment. They don't say, if you could create this. I'm going to give you some examples of technological advancements later on in the show in Winning and Losing that shouldn't have been made. Why? Because somebody doesn't understand the difference between the capability of being able to do something and the judgment of whether it would be a good idea or not. You need both. You need both things. You need the capability to create, and you need the judgment to realize that you're not doing something stupid. In AI, I think that we completely lack the judgment part. And if we don't, then countries like China, come on, that is the wild, wild friggin' west of what's going on. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they said Godzilla rose out of the ocean tomorrow and was destroying a city, and they say, oh, China was trying to clone a lizard and a giant lizard, and they created Godzilla. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. I would be like, yep, I could see it. I could absolutely see it, because who the hell knows what's going on over there, to be honest. So anyway, I digress. But, you've seen the creepy robot dogs, that come through and they open the doors and they get knocked down, and then we teach them how to get back up again. And by the way, if that sounds like the end scene of Terminator, it is. That's what happens. The Terminator just keeps coming, right? Just keeps coming. So human beings taught the Terminator how to overcome obstacles so that it could eventually come and kill you. You have to remember that. But in a very real sense of the word, the machines are really coming to disrupt marketing. and Google is leading the charge. So Google, sent me this thing, and they said, yeah, we can, the thing with the shapes I was telling you about. Now here, the promise of machine learning is fantastic. It really is. It says basically, I have to read it to you because it's magical BS. It says, as consumer expectations grow for more personalized, relevant, and assistive experiences, machine learning is becoming an invaluable tool to help meet those demands. It's helping marketers create smarter customer segmentations, deliver more relevant creative campaigns, and measure performance more effectively. In fact, statistic coming, 85% of executives believe that AI will allow their companies to obtain or sustain a competitive advantage. Now that sounds great. Man, that, you can almost hear the Star Spangled Banner playing in the background while you're saying it. I mean, it is some magical marketing bullcrap. But email was supposed to help us communicate faster, more efficiently, and more clearly than other previous methods. Did it? Did it? Really? I mean, so you get hundreds of emails. You get, I'm being conservative. You get thousands of emails. If you have spam blockers, you only see hundreds of them. But, if you've ever had I had somebody told me the other week, they said, hey, I tried to send you an email. I tried to send you this email. And did you get it? And I was like, no, I didn't get it. I checked my spam filter and it was buried at the bottom of my spam filter. The reason that person can't communicate with me, they should be able to communicate with me. But the reason they can't is because of irresponsible use of the technology that's happened, right? And we've sort of, let that happen. So according to Google, the phases where machine learning can get involved in marketing are as follows. Audience discovery. They say you can identify your most valuable customers. That is very true. You can do that. But, again, you can't be invasive about this stuff. And you can take this goes from 0 to creepy in about 5 seconds. I mean, this needs a person watching over it. Because this can be so bad. One person's audience discovery is another person's, who the hell is looking in my window? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Creative is the next phase, they say. They say they can quickly serve the right message for every moment. Every moment, the customer journey, you can serve them the right message at precisely the right moment. Now, see, this makes a hell of a lot of sense for us, the marketer. We like this. We want to be able to communicate more with you. We want to send you more stuff so that we can sell you. We want communications to create a behavioral response. However, the audience, don't want to hear from us at every moment. This is, and you should write this down and put this up over your desk. The consumer does not want to hear from your brand at every moment of their life. You are not that important to them. You are not that important to them. Learn it, live it, love it. Make it a motto. It's very important. Every time you communicate, your brand is at risk. You want to hear something that no communications person's ever going to tell you? Every single time we communicate, we have the risk of being unsubscribed. We have the risk of being hated. We have the risk of being reported to the Federal Trade Commission. That's a fun one. We have the risk of pretty soon we're going to have the risk when the California Data Privacy Initiative hits here. We're going to have the risk of being fined. We're going to have there's a lot of risk, man. Sending more garbage out is not the path to more relationships, and sending more emails more frequently as people move towards your purchase decision is selfish, lacks human empathy, and stupid beyond measure. You heard it here first, folks. The next phase is optimization. They said find the right customers in their key moments. Again, I just got to say, you are peeking through a lens that maybe you shouldn't have access to. Okay? This has to be done so carefully with such incredible care and risk aversion that there's no machine that could do that. Because if you try to explain to a machine why humans like privacy, they won't understand it. Because they're a machine. They don't understand privacy. It's a human thing. You have to be a human to understand it. Very important. I know that's basic, but that's really important stuff. The last thing that Google says on this thing is measurement. They can unlock the true value of each step of the path to purchase. Great. I mean, do I even need to say it again? Caution, 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 extreme caution. You are spying on people who you don't really know. And if they find out that you're spying on them, they will hate you for it. And when they hate you for it, all of the things that we do marketing for, you know, that whole warm and fuzzy, let's build relationship stuff, all of that stuff you just lit on fire. Okay? And this is the part where I think Google doesn't understand. It's like people hate you if you spy on them. They don't just moderately dislike you or distrust you. They hate you. They want to block you. They want to report you to the Federal Trade Commission. You know, this is very, very serious stuff. So here's your compass to navigating this stuff. And I always tell my clients this. What business are we really in? And there's two answers. And this will determine how comfortable you are. If answer number one, if you say, man, I want to sell, sell, sell. Well, congratulations. You are officially in there are no limits to how creepy I'm going to get to sell my stuff and put you in a funnel and sell all my crap to you. Great. I want to know what you're doing every minute, feed it into a machine, and use that information to serve you up more advertising during your moments and pray that you don't hate me and come after my family like John Wick. Good luck with that. Okay? Answer number two. I want to create long-term, mutually beneficial relationships. Now we're talking. This is what I would refer to as actual marketing. Right here. This is where we exhibit empathy, trust, brand confidence. We trust you in your moments. This is where we actually care about the audience's needs first. Oh my God, I know it's amazing. And we know when not to be invasive, creepy. We know when to back off. We know how to let people have their moments without us. You know, all of this technology was designed to make things easier. None of it has. Because aggressive marketing organizations are waiting there in the wings to use every new tool to bother, annoy, and generally creep out the audience. We have the capability, we lack the judgment of how to use it. We have capabilities without judgment, right? Google is a fantastic example of capabilities and zero actual real-world judgment being applied. And they're going to pay for it because the government's coming for them, as we've talked about lots of time on this show. And there's no way to stop it now because they've already started that cycle and process. Well, that was fun. Come on back. We're going to talk about who's winning and losing this week, including some donuts that have egg filling in them. Yeah. Capability, no judgment. Come on back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on InterTalkRadio.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You are tuned into May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Media with your host, Scott Robertson. Here I am. Hanging out. We're talking. I'm raging against machine language today. Paul, how are you doing? You like my love letter to Google so far?
100011001.
Exactly. Yeah. All of a sudden, my Google search rankings of my company go from I'm just buried now. They don't even know where I am.
Be careful who you're messing with.
Be careful with who you're messing with. Man, those people need to get a freaking clue before it's too late. It's so sad. All right, let's get into, speaking of getting a clue before it's too late, let's get into winning and losing, shall we? Oh, man. So, only 4% of people trust what influencers say online, according to a new story that I found on thedrum.com. Most global internet users lack confidence in what they see and read online, with only 8% believing in the bulk of information shared on social media is true. Say it isn't so. People lie in marketing? Really? I work at Google. I'm not familiar with these things. Dropping to 4% when it comes from influencers. This comes from a media agency, which finds a tiny minority of internet users agree that 3/4 or more of the insight they gleaned from platforms like Facebook and Instagram was correct. So this is really, really important to understand, especially when we talk about, I've done plenty of shows on influencer marketing. What have I always said? I say influencers are great as long as they have influence, as long as they aren't liars, as long as they aren't getting paid to do it, as long as they have trust, right? The game is about trust when it comes to media and influencers. So, not to be obvious about the whole thing, but if we're doing public relations, we want to go to the media outlets and the influence who have trust, because that's what we're going for. That's the plan, right? That's your pre-research that gets you there. 4% feels a little low for me. It's higher in the music industry. I will definitely tell you that. I don't think anybody's done a definitive study on it. I will tell you that in the influencers that I work with in the music industry, people believe what they say. People believe what they say. If they review something, and truthfully too, not that we're in there trying to pay them or influence them in any way, but if they review something of one of my clients, they review a guitar pedal or a guitar or a piece of music gear, and it's a positive review, then their audience believes them. And, or sometimes there's a little debate that goes on in the comments. Well, I bought that same guitar pedal and it sounded like crap. And then they're like, well, maybe you suck. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Who knows? We all kind of are watching different movies when it comes to reviews, as we always talk about. But I think it's skews a little higher. Only 4%, according to this survey, say that people trust. Only 4% trust what influencers say online. Of course, this is also comes from the UK, and so that could also be different as well. We're going to put that in. We'll put influencers in losing this week, because that's a lower level of trust than we expect to see from them. Facebook is starting to prepare advertisers for what's coming. And by the way, what this reporter has been predicting for a long time, the government's getting ready to break up Facebook, right? You see it? Can you see it coming? Right? Remember when I said that? Go back and you look, and I said that the government's coming for them. This is what I meant when I said that. The government is going to break Facebook up into a bunch of pieces in the next 6 months. That's what's getting ready to happen. So to sort of get in front of that, the government is preparing its advertisers for this new tool that Facebook's running out called what? Clear History. It's called Clear History. So they are going to allow you, the user, to delete all of that precious, precious data that the social network has been gathering on you by monitoring all your behavior. And don't forget, Facebook can monitor your stuff outside of Facebook too, right? They're sneaky little bastards. They can see everything you're doing. And they're not going to use that information any longer for advertising, because that would be wrong. It would be wrong to use that data for advertising purposes. Seriously, the naivete that comes in this profession blows me over. It is unreal to me. But, here's what I've always said all along. Don't spy on people. It's bad for relationships. If they find out they're doing it, they're going to hate you for doing it. And then the hate is the opposite reaction that we're going for. See, hate doesn't show well on the little metric thing that we're measuring. We're measuring the relationship. The hate's not good. Okay? So that's why I've always sort of advocated not to do stuff like that. Remember we talked about funnels and magnets, the importance of magnets? Oh, get your popcorn ready. The importance of magnets is never going to be stated more than when the government comes in and starts saying that you can't use the funnels anymore. And this is the first salvo of them trying to self-correct before the government does that. So, anywho, so when you clear off all your cookies and whatever on your in your Facebook, then Facebook will no longer have the data that it can use to personalize stories for you. It can't personalize advertising for you. It cannot sell your data to advertisers. And holy crap, believe me, that's going on. Okay, there are multi-million-dollar industries just based on that that are about to be disrupted. So I'm going to put this in. I mean, Facebook is definitely all kinds of losing these days. It's playing huge defense. It's got an uphill fight because it's fighting against something that you probably can't beat, the government. And this clear history thing will be just sort of a first bit of self-correction. Maybe they're just trying to lessen the blow a little bit. That's what would be my guess. But it's interesting nonetheless. So Facebook losing. You know who's winning is the city of San Francisco. They have just been the first major city to ban the use of facial recognition technology. I think this is really smart. I think this is really, really smart. Even if they say it's used for law enforcement, human beings, what is the theme of this show? Can we be trusted? Can we be trusted with this data? Hell no. Is this data secure? Hell no. Is there any part of this that's going to go south? Oh, yeah, it's absolutely going to go south. So they get a database of everybody's faces. They're going to sell it. Somebody's going to sell it. Some idiot in some mid-level job's going to get their hands on the database. They're going to sell it. It's going to be published everywhere. There's going to be all kinds of problems. Okay? Human beings cannot be trusted with this data. We're too stupid, too greedy, too opportunistic, too every insert adjective here that you can. All the reasons that our society has, stumbled and bumbled along, for thousands of years is going to be on full display when it comes to talking about this data, right? A friend of mine who worked for Pretty Good Privacy, PGP back in the day, told me something really important about privacy that everybody needs to kind of know. He said, if a human being created the lock, then at least one person has the key. And when at least one person has the key, you're at risk. You're at risk. There's somebody somewhere that knows how to open it. And if there's one person that knows how to open it, you got problems. So I applaud, and I put San Francisco firmly in the area of winning. I think this facial recognition technology is dangerous. I think it is bad. It is dangerous. It is a relationship killer for sure. If you're working with a brand and they use your facial recognition in some creepy ass way, you will shut the door on them and lock it for good. So, congratulations to San Francisco for doing that. And I also don't think law enforcement should have it. You know what? We solve crimes just fine without it. This is too much power for us. We're too stupid. We'll never be able to manage it. So, man, some good news on robocalls is kind of interesting. We talk about robocalls and how horrible they are too on the show. But who's winning this week? New measures that can block some of the billions of robocalls are coming. So basically, the rising volume of calls has created pressure on Congress and the regulators and the phone companies to act. The FCC, your friends in Washington, they dress in black. You've seen them. They said on Wednesday that they will vote in June on whether to allow carriers to block spam calls by default, which means they can lock out a lot of these spoofing calls, a lot of these spam calls. They can lock down a lot of this stuff at the carrier level, which means we never will see it. That is what I'm talking about. Remember, I always say government does very few things well. This is something government could do well. You force the carriers to do something they should be doing anyway, probably aren't I mean, who knows why they're not? But anyway, that's a good thing the government should do. You know, I hope my tax dollars went to pay for that. I mean, they should put on your tax receipt, your tax dollars went for this. We shut down robocalls. Okay, all right, you can have some taxes for that. Damn right, that's what I'm talking about. You know, so I don't know. That's just one marketer's opinion. But I say the FCC is winning on that, and I think we're all going to be winning pretty soon. Can we talk about IKEA for a second? So IKEA has been working on their logo. You know, they've got the big iconic blue and yellow logo. I like it. It reminds me of Los Angeles Rams, to be honest. It's very, very cool. They've been branding for the last 2 years. They've been trying to rebrand the logo. And I like what they did, and this needs to be called out. Instead of doing something weird or freaky or redoing it, their journey took them to the idea of all we really need to do is make our logo a little more transparent. So they changed it to like a very understated white, very much the same logo, just took the colors out of it and made the logo kind of transparent. This is really smart to me because you maintain the brand equity of the blue and yellow logo, which wasn't working for some design purposes, I guess because you couldn't see the stuff behind it, would be my guess. And there were some instances where they wanted to kind of show this. Also, they kind of ghost the logo in there, so the logo's not really in your face too much anymore, and you can see their stuff. I think that it's extraordinarily well done. I'd hate to see how much they paid for it. They actually call it what do they call it? They call it the new logo system is called Fönster, which is Swedish for window, actually. It maintains the lettering and the iconic oval inside the rectangular form of the IKEA logo, but it abandons the color scheme entirely. Instead, it is an all-white version of the logo, and it sits on top of any photo or video, and the shape becomes a window into the image behind it. Smart. Smart design. That is very, very smart logo design. Instead of coming out with something goofy, or we redesigned IKEA and we made it all lowercase, or we changed some colors, and we did a color study and all this kind of crap. They said, what can we do that's functional for the brand and that's going to allow us to preserve that brand equity? So important. I love seeing marketing teams that use their brains. I love it. Very nice. So anyway, IKEA is all kinds of winning. I will miss the blue and yellow. I got to say, I will miss it. It does remind me of my favorite football team. So Donald Trump, released a new tool for the public to submit suspicions of political bias on social media. This is kind of fascinating. So the White House launched its own online tool for the public to submit any instances of what they see as political bias on social media. So sort of a report card of what if they're seeing themselves being shut down. Oh, your post was removed? Well, tell us exactly why. Smart, right? Because smart on behalf of, regardless of what your political affiliations are, the White House is gathering data, right? They're going directly to the people. They're gathering data, and before they come out and accuse social networks of censoring a particular point of view and that sort of thing, they're gathering real-world testimonials and data from people about these violations. And once they have it, you can better believe they're going to use it in some way. So, and then it gives them it gives the administration an ability to say, hey, we're fighting for free speech online. We don't think that Facebook, is really allowing for free speech, which is a criticism that we've heard, right? We've heard that, there's an advocacy message, a liberal-leaning advocacy message in a lot of these social networks, and it just tends to bleed out sort of in their behavior, right? I think it's fascinating. I've never seen anything like it before, and I think it's really, really interesting. Regardless, we don't really get into politics that much on this show, but from a communication standpoint, the tool is really interesting, and really interesting the fact that the White House would create its own tool. And sort of, they just started collecting data now, so that's what they're sort of doing. Oh man, so I guess we got to talk about Krispy Kreme donuts, don't we? So Krispy Kreme just came out with their newest donut flavor, which tastes like salty egg yolks, just like Mama used to vomit. Plenty of people eat eggs for breakfast. A lot of people eat donuts, but do they really want them together? From todayshow.com, Krispy Kreme's latest pastry combines the two morning favorites into one creamy treat that's both sweet and salty. Yikes. So this is like a limited edition flavor. It is this thing has just been introduced. So the donut is stuffed with lava egg, a runny custard made with egg yolks. And it's done in international. I mean, I guess maybe egg yolks and stuff like that are a little more popular, like in the Far East and those kind of things. I don't get stuff like this. It's if you really, really want a salted egg yolk flavor inside your donut. Again, this falls firmly and securely into the area that we talked about before. Capabilities, but no judgment. Right? Capabilities to, yes, hey, scientists, hey, we can make a creamy, salty, egg-filled custard and we can stick it inside a donut. We can't, oh, that's awesome, guys. Bob, you're kicking ass. Good job. Fantastic job. Should we do that? Hell no. No, you definitely shouldn't do that. Nobody wants that. Nobody said they wanted that, right? That's awful. That makes me, I feel like I want to vomit right now just talking about it. You know, capability plus judgment equals product idea, right? Capability alone doesn't, judgment alone doesn't. They go together. Really, really important. It's a theme of this show, honestly. I got to say, if there's one thing that I talk about a lot, it's that. Krispy Kreme, you're losing with that. That's awful. Bill Nye. Let's talk about Bill Nye. So Bill Nye, the science guy, just recently shot a video. He really believes in climate change. Even though there's been a group that just came out and said that climate change was a total wash and that there was no data to support the Earth was warming, it's actually cooling. But Bill Nye did this video where he uses profanity and fire to talk about the enormity of climate change. Says the whole planet's going to burn up if we don't do something. This kind of stuff. He did it as a guest on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. It's interesting. It's interesting. It says, by the end of the century, if emissions keep rising, the average temperature on Earth could go up another 4 to 8 degrees, said Nye. But there's no actual, what's the word I'm searching for? Science that supports that. Science supports the fact that the planet is cooling. According to the latest, there was a huge global gathering, and they all came up with the fact that the planet is actually cooling. So, wouldn't a scientist be led by the science? I think you're losing. I think you're losing credibility and all kinds of stuff on that. Plus, I got to wear a jacket today, and it's Southern California in May. That sucks. You guys are listening to May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott. We're coming on back, and I'm going to give you some tips for playing nice with the machines.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on InterTalkRadio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. It is Friday, and you are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, still your host, still hanging out with my buddy Garth, Paul B. How's it going? Shawing. We were talking about winning and losing. So what did you like this week, Paul? What stuck out to you? What do you like?
I think I like the egg yolk donut. I'm gonna have to go out and get me one.
Oh my God! It's newest donut flavor tastes like salty egg yolks.
You're supposed to. It's a half baked product. You're supposed to cook it on your engine block. Just throw the donut in there, drive to work, and by the time you're there, the thing's gonna be perfect.
You know, I was thinking about my company is about 8 years old, going on 8 years old. And I was thinking, in that time, my clients have had no crisis situations. And I got to say, it comes from the fact that anytime somebody has a wacky idea, I shut it down. I've always been sort of known for that, but I say, no, that's not going to work. That's dumb. Who's thinking of that? I say, that's completely stupid. Why would we do that? And I shut things down before anybody else ever hears about them. That's why we don't have a lava egg running out of donuts. You got
to be careful though. The way the world is going, like common sense is going to be the next big scandal.
Oh my God! I tell you what, it's uncommon. As we talked about on one episode of the show, sense is uncommon in this world. It is uncommon.
That's true.
Oh man! And speaking of, we're talking about machine learning and how the machines are learning all about us and spying on us, and how marketing doesn't see any problem with that. That's just a good thing. How much data can we get? I've sat on panels, by the way, with some of these digital marketers who are quite a bit younger than me and haven't actually had any marketing training. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a problem. Marketing isn't this thing that just like was invented when Google started. Okay, there's a lot of crap that happened first that you probably need to educate yourself about so you understand why we do all this stuff. What's behind it. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But I sit on panels with sometimes these guys, and they say, we've increased conversion to the funnel by 50%. We've increased funnel conversion just by sending out more messages and getting people to to respond. And look at this, and then I start asking a few questions like this. I say, so where is the spreadsheet of all the people that you've pissed off? And the crowd laughs, and they say, and they go, oh well, we don't. I say, we don't measure that, do we, kids? Well, if you're in branding, then you do, because everything counts, and every interaction counts, and every person counts, and every bit of that counts, and none of that is a throwaway thing. And the problem with digital marketing is they only measure the results that they want to see. They don't measure the scorched earth, that they're the burned out villages and the blown up bridges behind them that they've created along the way to get them. There's no spreadsheet that shows you how burned up the terrain is behind them to get what they want, right? And that is a marketing problem. That is a brand reputation problem. That is the opposite of what we do here in the marketing department, okay? Really important, basic, fundamental stuff that I'm talking about, okay? And if you're a digital marketer and you're going forward with all your digital marketing tools, crack a marketing textbook. Read about the importance of relationships in marketing and why we need them and why they are there. Very important. So with that in mind, I'm going to give you guys some tips for playing with the machines and marketing automation. And it's not that I'm against all technology. You may form the opinion. I work in technology. I love technology. I don't think it's a substitute for thinking about stuff. And that is sort of my main message, is that caution, 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 caution. So let's just get into the tips and we'll go with that. So number one, start with a real marketing plan. Okay. Some organizations just throw a bunch of money at like search engine optimization and pay-per-click, and they say, hey, that is our marketing plan. That is not your marketing plan. That is a tactic. That is a tactic of what could potentially be a marketing plan, but it is not a marketing plan by itself. A marketing plan includes research, insight, research, goals, business goals, marketing goals, strategies, and tactics. And then it includes measurement, and we measure everything, right? We don't just measure how many people we're stuffing through the funnel this month. We measure what impact are we having out there in the world? How are we being talked about? Are we part of the problem? Yeah, that kind of stuff. A real marketing plan. Start with that. Make sure you have one. If you're out there working in an organization that doesn't have one, stop it. Go create one. It is not hard. It takes some thinking. It takes a little bit of time. I say before Monday, you got Saturday and Sunday. Start working on it. Start with this. What do we know about our customers? What's going on with this? What are our goals? What are, just there's so much that's been written about marketing. There's no excuse not to understand it. It's not hard. It's really not. It's really, really, really not. So do that. It's really important to start with a marketing plan. Number 2, use human empathy as your compass. Okay? Of all the marketing automation approaches that I see, they all have one thing in common. They have no human empathy at all. It is just because we have the capability to send a person a message. We could send them 35 messages at various points in the customer journey, and we could send them various messages. Let me ask you this question. Do you wish to receive 35 messages from an organization? Do you? Are you out there saying, what would really make my life complete today? What would really make my day? If I could get 35 messages that all changed in some kind of weird, creepy-ass way when I did something, if I could get that sent to me in weird ways as I was behaving in certain ways, then that would really strengthen my relationship with this company. Let me give you a real-world example. I'm at the pharmacy at CVS. I'm getting a prescription filled. While I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my smartphone because I'm waiting. They're filling the prescription. It's not an instant thing. Suddenly, a message comes up on my phone, and it says, "Get 10% off," or was it 20% off any pharmacy purchase? At CVS, any prescription purchase. Now that's a coincidence. Right? That's an amazing coincidence. Here I am at the pharmacy. Here I am standing in the pharmacy, and I get a coupon about the pharmacy. Wow. I must be really, really lucky. Right? It's amazing when you feel that lucky. Here's what I did. I was creeped out beyond words. I don't like people spying on me. And if you're spying on me, I'm going to find you. And I'm going to John Wick your ass. Okay? I don't want you spying on me. Okay? It is a relationship killer. It is. It is not something that builds your relationship. So if you're sitting in the marketing department and saying, well, look what we can do. We can send Scott a wonderful message that will give him a coupon for 10% off his pharmacy purchase at any CVS while he's standing in line. Do you know what the human response for that is? Who the hell is watching me? I'm sorry. Are you watching me for 10% off? How about I take the 10% off and I shove it up your butt? I mean, I do not want your 10%. To get it, you have to watch where I'm geolocated in your store, you creepy, creepy bastard. Okay? And that is a very natural and a very normal human response. Whether people would express it quite as vehemently as I just did or not, they might not. However, this is how the humans, not the people that work at Google apparently, but this is how the human beings relate to creepy stuff. We reject it. We don't like you. I deleted the CVS app off my phone that minute. I'll pay the 10% if you just piss off and let me get my prescription. How about that? Would that work for you? How about I pay you an extra 20% for you just to get the hell out of my face while I'm trying to do this? And that is the human response to spying. And let's not make any euphemisms about it or anything else. When you are getting data about a customer without their knowledge, against their will, you are spying on them. You are at major risk of losing the relationship forever, and you're at major risk of very soon being in violation of the law, because the law is coming. Because people have been creeped out, as we've discussed many times, and many privacy attorneys on the show have agreed with us and told us what's coming next, right? But if you use this little thing that I talk about all the time, empathy, you just take a second and say, if I were this customer, would I want to receive this? Is it good enough for me? Is it good enough? Is this good enough for us to send out? I talked a few weeks ago about the farmer boys sending me the thing saying, what happened to our relationship? You don't come by anymore. You don't do that anymore. Come on, man. I mean, think before you send me crap. Don't just send me stuff. Think about what my reaction is going to be. And if it's my reaction, it's probably going to be angry, just so you know. So that's not cool. That's my second tip. Human empathy, very important. Number 3, stay in control. Stay in control. When you're doing any type of marketing automation, which I am not super in favor of because of the laziness factor and because of how many stupid things can go wrong and all these things that can go wrong in the real world, stay in control. There is no autopilot here under any circumstances. There is no, just because it's easier for you, and I know it's great, and you got that dashboard going, and you're like, I'm sending out messages, and it feels like I'm a marketer, and I'm sending crap out, and it's like a 747 up here, and I'm just shooting stuff out, and it's great, whatever. There's an audience out there. There's people getting these things. You're trying to build relationships. There is no chance that you should let that stuff go without you personally being involved and touching all of it. If you're not, you are in so much risk. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, it's just, that's how I get, I joined Albertsons rewards program. I got 8 emails from Albertsons a week now. 8. So what do? I have to unsubscribe to you. I want to be in your rewards program. I'd love to be, but you don't have the ability to control yourself for me to be in your program or whatever. Over communication, too much communication, sort of the happy puppy of communication syndrome, is a relationship killer also. Spying is a killer. Over communication is a killer. All those kind of things. Stay in control of your stuff at all costs. Stay on message. I recommend all my clients have a message map. I consult that message map before I create anything for any of my clients. Let's say I have 10 clients. I have 10 message maps. All of them are right here on my desktop. I can open them up before I create any content on behalf of my clients. I'm reviewing the message map. Why am I doing that? Because I'm a human being, and as we know, machines can do stuff better than me. But one thing they damn well can't do better than me is figure out what the message is going to be for a given, audience, and be able to stay on that message with the message map. Okay, very, very, very important stuff. That's how you stay away from, the farmer boys thing. I get a million little sales things. Hey, come get free fries. Come get free zucchini strips. And then I get this weird one that says, what happened? You don't come by the store anymore. Have we done something wrong? Oh, and I was like, what? Are we, is this it was odd. It was, that's somebody that's not staying on the message map, right? Somebody getting creative and doing something freaky. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if it was some kind of marketing automation thing, too, because it was just stupid enough to be a computer. Computers are smart in a lot of things, but they're stupid when it comes to context and human empathy. Don't ever forget that. They don't have the ability to understand how we think and how we talk and the nuances of what we do. Not yet, at least. So, anywho, stay on message. Message. My last point, my last tip is, really steep yourself into this stuff. Marketing automation, machine learning, it's a given with us. It's coming, right? It's absolutely coming into the world. Google, the government will certainly battle with them, but, they're a juggernaut. And they're a juggernaut, and they certainly can't be stopped. But make sure you, as a marketer, are really up on what's going on with this stuff. Learn everything about it. All the marketing automation tools that I'm familiar with, they all have different features. They have different pricing structures. They have different amount of contacts. They can do different things. They interface differently with different apps. They, have different, all of this stuff is incredibly complicated stuff, right? And I do think, in a word of positive about marketing automation, I think that there are some instances where marketing automation can do some pretty cool stuff. If it's thanking people for a purchase they just made, yeah. Do you want to have a person creating that thank you email? No, you don't want to have to do that. You want to make sure it's on message. You want to make sure that it's not weird. You want to make sure it's not sent too many times. You want to make sure it's just sent the one time. It's not bizarre. There's with everything that you say that technology can do, there's a judgment element that needs to go along with it. And again, I think that is the way that we make sense of all of this AI and machine learning stuff that's going on, is the fact that not that we don't use it at all. It's just that when we do use it, we are exercising actual human judgment before we pull the trigger on doing stuff, because your audience doesn't know whether a computer sent them a message or whether you did. And I just think that it's just an important thing for us all to know, steep yourself into it. That's my 5th tip. So what have we learned today, class? We've learned that, it's a wild world out there with machine language. We've learned that, the technology can be used to bother and annoy people, and it can be used to do repetitive things that we need it to do. New technology like machine learning, is no substitute for the real stuff that we're doing on a daily basis. I advocate using magnets instead of funnels, as you know, exhibiting real empathy, not snooping on people, and trying to really win friends and influence people out there. It's no substitute for what we do, and it's never going to be. That's it for me, folks. Until next time, this has been me, Scott Robertson, host of May the Best Brand Win on InterTalk Radio. Come on back next week for a fresh show and more spine. Later.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on InterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?